Joined here by Andrew McCarthy, the driver of Ramona Hill. And Andy, let's talk a little bit about the big filly. She enters against the boys in the Hambletonian, and off a 6-for-7 season last year, she really grew up from 2 to 3 well.
Yeah, she did. She's come back. She didn't have to come back a lot better, but she definitely did come back a lot better at 3. And she grew up a little bit, got a little taller, and definitely got a little stronger. And she's a very exciting horse to drive, that's for sure.
And obviously, trainer Tony Alagna had her geared up and ready to go after the whole COVID-19 mess. And we've talked to several trainers and drivers. And obviously, when you come into the Hambletonian, you expect to have more than 3 starts. She's really put things together well, considering the short season leading up.
Yeah, absolutely. I was quite happy with the first start. There was a couple of little kinks there that we had to address, and but I still thought her first start was good. She closed very well, and obviously a second start there in the Del Miller was outstanding. That was a pretty incredible run, and to bounce back off that and to win the elimination the way she did, I couldn't be happier with her.
Now, in the Reynolds, obviously, she was third to Sorella and Panem. But, these horses, they're, like we say all the time, they're not machines. And it looked like she just needed a little bit of a tightener.
Yeah, of course, and, the way that filly is, I always try to save for the really big miles for the big races, So just it worked out where, I wanted to trip her out in that race and kind of, first start, it's going to be hard to catch Sorella off slow fractions, So that's just the way it worked out. And then we had the 10 hole in the Del Miller, and I knew I had to make something work. So I said, go behind the gate, and it's she'll go.
One thing about her is she was dismissed in the Del Miller Memorial by the bettors. Went off at 8-1, and boy was she red hot in the Del Miller Memorial, and definitely looked like a very strong contender, not only against the fillies, but obviously that helped Tony Alagna increase his decision heading into the Hambletonian.
I think so. I think Tony had it in the back of his mind since she was a 2-year-old that we might be shooting towards the Hambo instead of the Hambo Oaks, just because we know how talented she is, So, it's always been a thought, even from probably 12 months ago. So, it definitely concreted the decision, that's for sure. The way she did it, the trip that I had to give her to win the race, and I think it guarantees her a chance to go against the boys, that's for sure.
Now let's talk about that Hambletonian elimination. Obviously, from post 7, you kind of floated away, got away about 6.5 lengths, 6 3/4 lengths off the lead, and had to grind away to the outside. But you kind of got shuffled back there on the outside and were forced 3 wide around the last turn. When she took off, were you surprised by any sense that she was able to collar the leader?
Yeah, maybe a little surprised at I just kind of wanted to get a move in there in the last turn, and I looked up at the head of the stretch, and I actually, as crazy as it sounds, I kind of thought I had the race won at the head of the stretch. I was sensing Scotty's horse's body language up there, and he's he looked like he was starting to get a little lost out there by himself, and so I gave her a "come on, girl, you can do it," and off she went. And then, middle of the stretch, I just kicked the earplugs out and just told her one more time, "Come on, girl, you can do it," and she done the rest.
One thing about her is it didn't look like you had to urge her much. It was kind of just, letting her do her own thing, obviously with it being an elimination, trying to save a little bit for the final. And she seemed like she did a lot of it on her own. She just kind of took off and, came after the leader.
Oh, you don't get the privilege to drive too many horses like her. She's such a professional, you pretty much, she knows what a job is. She knows she's supposed to win the race, and, just tell her that it's go time, and she'll do it, and then the beautiful thing too is, like, after the race, you'll get her stopped after the race, and it's like she lets out one big breath and she's like, all right, that's over with. And, she'd walk back to the winner's circle 1 mile an hour if you let her.
Now let's obviously talk about post number 5. The one thing about Ramona Hill is she's versatile. She can go to the lead. She can come from off the pace. There's kind of a good mix of horses to the inside. What kind of game plan does that give you? And were you happy with the post draw?
I was happy with the post draw. Yeah. Anywhere in there is fine with me. I don't think she's ever had the rail in her life. So that was probably the only position that I didn't want, but yeah, anywhere in there is fine. She's definitely got enough gate speed to get me where I need to go. Or, if it's going to be a stampede getting into the first turn, well, I can figure out a nice little spot to work out a trip. I don't really have a game plan going into it. I've said this in many interviews. The Meadowlands is a racetrack where you can't have a plan A and a plan B. Sometimes you got to run down through to C, D, E, and F before you can make the right move. It's a racetrack you really have to drive. You just got to drive it at the time, and it's that's what I love about it. You have to drive the race. That's for sure.
Andy, what would it mean to win Saturday's Hambletonian with Ramona Hill?
Oh, obviously it'd mean a hell of a lot. It's quite an iconic race, and it's, even though I'm from Australia, I've been watching the Hambletonian for years and years and years, and I've known a lot about it, and the publicity around the race, and the hype, and it'd just be such a thrill, and it'd be a dream, that's for sure.
All right, Andy, best of luck coming up on a Saturday, and who knows, maybe we'll see you back in the Meadowlands Winter Circle.
Thanks a lot, Mike.